Now let's see the same cycle in the application. Here I am logging in to the application. You can see the branch menus. I'll go to purchase module, and there are sub modules. As I showed you here, I'll take you to the masters. These are the material groups listed out here. If any new material group has to be created, here we can create. And similarly, subgroups, material subgroups, and material category, if any, vendor categories as well, and purchase payment terms. So payment terms are like this. So all these things can be picked into the purchase order. Similarly, now purchase master. So materials, list of materials under grouped as a category wise. Let's see the computers. Under that, you can see now let us take the example of a Dell laptop under computers. So this is defined, this is a drawing number and unit of measure, HSN code, applicable percentages, GST, and accounting posting details. Similarly, is the vendor master. Now let us take some enterprises. So even vendor details, information related to the vendor, or PAN other information, bank details, and address details. And in case of manufacturer details, similarly, material stocks. Here we can see this. There is no opening quantity, but whereas closing quantity is available. So similarly, ledgers also, if you want to see the specific ledger, we can go back and see a specific item for the specified period. So each transaction with detailed information, we can see it here. So now let us start from purchase intent. And these are the transactions. So this is the flow if we can see it here. Purchase intent to PO, which is domestic. In case of import, PO is there separately. We can make a import PO and GRN. So everywhere there is a peak concept here. So firstly, I'll enter an intent. So here also you can see this. This is the current financial year, represents from here. And CORP is branch where I'm operating. And PIND is purchase intent. Actual number starts from 1 lakh. This is the current date, document date. So all relevant information is there. Now I'm just creating a header. So I'm picking a material as a line item. I'm here also I'm taking as a laptop. The moment I pick it, I'll get this information related to this particular material. How many PRs are pending and unposted PR balance, PO balance, and other balance of a GRN, unposted stock, and similarly stock availability in corporate branch. So now I am not indicating any rate in the indent part, only requirement quantity I need to mention here. It is, I have a requirement of 5 laptops. Just I request raise a indent. So it will appear here. And this will be reviewed by the respective managers. The process will go under same approval workflow by respective managers. Once it is approved, then purchase department will create a PO. I'm making a purchase order header now and selected a vendor, and similarly the terms, payment terms. I just created a header. Now I'm making a lines entry here. Instead of line entry, if there is no purchase intent directly, I can go and manually enter it. But whereas here, in this case, we have already have a indent. So I can either pick from the indents, what are all the indents available, so that the indents just created on 28. There is a quantity of 5 requirement. Now I'm taking all the 5 requirement. So PO printout, you can see it here. Placed on a vendor called Kiran Enterprises, supply to this location and quantity as well as GST details. This will undergo the process of workflow, verified, and next approval. Here you can see the previous users no remarks, and then take action accordingly. It is posted now. We can see any documents, relevant information can be attached here. And if you want to see the supply thread everywhere, you can see the purchase order is placed for 5 quantity, and because of there was an indent for 5 quantity. Now, as a process, we have placed an order with a vendor called Kiran Enterprises. Now, let's collect goods. So, supplier will apply the material through a GRN. Just created a header, and similarly, there's a concept called pick orders. What are all the orders placed on this particular vendor will appear here. The quantity. If it is a partial quantity received, we can take a partial quantity. In case of full quantity, I can select it here. Once we selected GRN, got entered, lines gets entered. You can see this now, GRN. And suppose if there is any rejection is there, we have an option here. Here in the line item, we can have all the details. So actual quantity received is 3 at the rate, and rejected. If any quantities are rejected, we can enter it here. So inspection is done, accepted or received relevant information. So now the process of now, if you look at this, the document got posted. And any rejection is there, debit note also got created. So we will see this particular supply thread. See, this is the forward thread, it is the backward thread. Now we are at this stage, goods receipt, all the 3 we have received, and out of that one is executed, which is returned, balance quantity 2 in the stock. Purchase order raised for 5, out of them 3 we have received it, and 2 more we can receive from the vendor. Indent also 5 for 5 quantity, total 5 quantity has been raised. Similarly, I can see this. There is a purchase return of quantity 1. Let us see the stocks. Account ledger, account ledger. Kiran Enterprises of this branch. Now transactions. There's no transaction here. Since there's nothing, document has been posted. So debit note has been created but not posted. So whether it is created and all, we'll see. See, there is a document got created from the system. So this is reflected here because of quantity we entered as a rejected quantity is 1 in the GRN stage. Now we have to make the payment to the vendor, right? Finance. There is a JV got created. We can see the purchase JV. We can see the Kiran Enterprises. Once we post this, it will reflect in the ledger. Now this document got posted. We can see the GST amount as well as purchase details. Now let us get into purchase vendor account ledger. We'll see Kiran Enterprises, corporate branch, specific date also we can see for this month, transactions. See, There is JV, purchase JV got posted. The amount is, credit amount is paid. Credit to this particular vendor account. Now we have to make the payment. So we'll get into this bank payment. We'll choose one of the branches here based on the availability of payment. Add new. Out of payment, which we make 90,000, and through NEFT transaction or check payment, check details. If anything is there, we can provide the check information. And instrument date on billing. Relevant information, we can update it here. Now I have created a header. I can view this particular payment voucher. While making the payment, we can see if there is any applicable taxes. TDC is applicable, we can see this. Other invoice details, anything is there that now I made the payment to the supplier through an instrument. Now let us see purchase ledger, account ledger of this particular account. Kiran Enterprises, corporate. Only let us see today's transactions. We can see there are the two transactions. One is JV got created. Another thing is a bank payment done for the amount that in. And closing balance is this much. Same thing can be taken into the Excel. Similar way, we'll go and see the item ledger. Now today we have received quantity 3 through a GRN. Value of this particular material is so much. Running balance quantity is so much. Hope it is clear now. So now what are all things covered? I'll show you. Purchase indent we have raised and pick it into the purchase order. And GRN we made. In the GRN, one quantity we have put it as a rejection. And through a QC process, and it got JV got created. And since it is a rejected quantity, there is a debit note also got created. Now there is a manage old orders is a concept, which we'll see that. So if any pending indents or quantity document, we can see this. So what are all the pending quantity? See, we have raised a PO for 5 quantity. Out of them, 3 are supplied. To that extent, there is a pending quantity of 2. If customer, if supplier is not going to deliver this based on the decisions, this can be cancelled. For any reasons, if there is any modifications or amendment in the purchase order, and user can go to the purchase order which has been placed, and based on the requirement he can amend the PO. With proper remarks. The moment we submit this with the same document number, version gets created and it will be in active status. We can see supply thread here, the same document and entire thread also we can see it here, earlier thread. And to show you the version, when you edit here, you can notice it here, there is a version. Rest all information remains same. If you look at that line item, here you can see material, total quantity of 5, executed is 1, there is 1 rejected. Like this, we can amend if required. Again, this process will continue as it is to place a now modification to the PO quantity, but it will not allow you to modify any of the values. Okay. Now let's see a dashboard. Here you can see this some sample dashboard. Vendor wise purchases, how vendor is purchasing. And similarly, last 5 purchases made. And reports also we can see this purchase reports. There are standard reports we can see. Suppose let's say take GRN register of all activities between the period. We can notice it here. The transaction whatever we have done recently, that will appearing here. Same amount. So same report can be taken into the Excel. And there are landing page alerts. If any pending PO offer approval, all relevant information based on the user access, they'll be able to view and act accordingly. This is the oral cycle. And here, what all things covered, I'll tell you. In the masters, we have seen this vendor, item purchase intent, and the intent approval, request for quotations. This is I have not explained, that I'll explain. So usually intents received from the departments. Purchase department will send a RFQs to the vendors through online. Supplier will receive into their mails. They need not log into the application. They simply click it and update the relevant information in the browser itself. That window, whatever is shared with them, that will, once they submit that particular quotation, that will come and sit into the, that will come and sit into the, quotation, 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 that will come and sit application automatically. So department people, the user, they can compare all the items, quotations. Quotation comparison is there where they compare it and finalize one of them or as per requirement and they place a purchase order. Similarly, instead of purchase order for services, there will be a service order and order process and there will be approval mechanism. Then already we have seen the event purchase order amendment process and goods received through GRNs, and we have done these purchase returns as well. And I explained the manage old orders. And the JV got created when we posted the GRN. It is integrated to the finance module and relevant every document. We have a feature of attachments, provision given. Any documents, scanned documents or PDF documents can be attached here. And I would demonstrate to the purchase reports. This is the complete cycle of purchase in the Plum ERP. Thank you.